Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and I'm trying to keep a straight face. And today we're going to talk about this ad that is apparently, despite my best efforts to research and prove that it is in fact a parody, not a parody that wants to make men vote for Kamala Harris and convince you that it is the masculine thing to do. I'm not joking about this. Apparently, this is a real thing, as Anna Kasparian would say.
It's real!
I just said that, Anna. Just stop interrupting like that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And I also want to say that on Wednesday, October 23rd, I will be at the Sovereign House at 7 p.m. for a live debate, one of the Soho debate series, versus a person called Joshua Eagle. And this person will be making the argument against me that it is the libertarian position to vote for Kamala Harris in this presidential election. You're gonna want to tune in for that. Register with the link in the description of this video if you can be there in person, because I'd absolutely love to meet you guys. Now, let's get into the actual story.
I'm a man.
So already, and I mean already, I have issues with the representation of men, and we haven't even gotten past the first one. This large individual right here with a very high-pitched voice is the lead-off person for this. An overweight guy that is doing something gardening related or farming related. I'm not exactly sure. And he's like, I'm a man, in a very unconvincing way. But let's get a little bit further through this, because if I stop it every single frame, like I definitely could, this video is going to take 27 hours.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
So I think what this ad is going for, if I'm being perfectly honest and being perfectly fair, is they're trying to play into what they consider to be masculine stereotypes with the Scotch neat or whatever right there, and they're trying to kind of tell a joke and be in on the joke. Like, they're trying to say, hey, this is a little bit absurd, but we totally get it, kind of like internet culture. But the fact of the matter is, nobody is laughing with them, everybody is laughing at them, and one of the reasons why is because some of the folks that they have in this particular video, they're not masculine at all whatsoever. And again, I'm not one of these people who says that every single person who votes for the Democrats that is a man is not masculine, because I'm not that dumb. Obviously, we have a huge country and a vast swaths of it can look and act certain ways and vote certain ways. But the fact of the matter is, there is a left-wing stereotype of more effeminized men voting in this direction, and they don't do anything to refute that. Again, just pay attention to this next guy that they pull up.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
So I just want to say, before I get into this individual right here, that we here at the Actual Justice Warrior channel have no problem with the gays. We are not against the gays. We are supportive of the gays being able to rent a boat on Sunday or whatever the hell the gays want and feel like they're being denied. That being said, this ad, at least what it appears to be going for, is a straight hetero masculine man. That's why you have the guy on the motorbike. That's why you have this guy at the gym. But then we stumble upon this guy, and he's sitting in a very closed off, effeminate position, and he has a lisp that I can't ignore.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to cook my steak rare is not what you should be going for in this particular type of ad. Again, unless you're trying to parody left-wing men. Unless you're deliberately trying to mock them, which, by the way, in this particular case, I would heavily advise against, because this appears to be one of the two Hispanics that they have throughout this whole entire ad. Kamala Harris is hemorrhaging Hispanics, and they have an obese farmer guy with a high-pitched voice, and this guy who sounds not straight. And again, we here on the Actual Justice Warrior channel are fully in favor of the gays being able to rent bowling shoes, or again, whatever rights they feel like they're being denied on this channel. It's not an insult, it's just an observation. YouTube gods, be nice to me. I've never went after the gays in my entire life, and I'm dead serious about that. Ignore the comedic tone that I'm taking.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You see what I mean right here? It seems like they're trying to be in on the joke, but the fact of the matter is, they aren't. This is ridiculous. And again, even though this guy is among the more masculine guys, he's at the gym, he's in good shape, he actually has a voice that isn't insanely high-pitched, It's something's off about the energy right here. I might have to apply what I applied to the Lispy guy to this guy right here, and I don't want to attribute that to him because he says that he has a daughter, and I really, really hope that everything's okay in the household. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm going too far, but this ad is just ridiculous.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
Look, I don't know where this guy is from. I gotta be perfectly honest with you. I am basing this solely on appearances. I am judging a book by its cover, and you might think that's wrong, but the fact of the matter is, the reason books have covers is so that you can judge them. But this screams Mexican to me. This screams the other Hispanic representation in this particular ad, because he's an overweight guy. He kind of has like Mexican-y features, and he's also dressed like a cowboy. So it's like a Mexican stereotype right on display right here. And again, they're trying to do some comedic bits or whatever, but it doesn't appear to be working. And considering the other guy that looks vaguely Latino comes off as incredibly gay, and then this guy is overweight, it feels a little bit offended, honestly. It feels like this is not really gonna go over as well as they wanted it to go over.
I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for.
Okay, so I just want to say right off the top, I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody out there in the audience who's about to learn some information that they definitely didn't want to learn, but I think it is absolutely crucial that we establish that that guy sounds the most non-straight out of all these different guys, and he just uttered the phrase, "I'm not afraid of bears," and then the next person, the bigger guy, ends up saying that's what bear hugs are for. Because if you guys are unaware, if you're not up on your gay dialect, if you're not as supportive of the LGBT XXIIP community as I am, you might not know this, but a bear is a reference to something, a reference to a larger gay man in the gay world. So when little gay man says not afraid of bears, and then bigger man that was kind of questionable a little bit in my opinion, says that's what bear hugs are for, I'm reading this as completely different than intended. And by the way, I'm just saying the bear gay, they tend to be bigger and more masculine by comparison, but this version who says he's not afraid of the bear gay, I think it's less masculine. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to point out that the intended outcome of this particular ad, it doesn't seem to be hitting the mark. And if you read between the lines even a little bit, it gets even more questionable, and it delves into areas that I didn't want to delve into. So I'm sorry. I apologize to you guys out there in the audience, but the fact of the matter is, this ad has layers to how bad it is.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
So look, I might believe that these first two guys aren't afraid of women, but we've already established that the most likely to be non-straight might actually be women adverse. Again, I don't know how else to say it. He said he likes his steak rare, which is like kind of more on the raw end, and then he says he likes the big bears, the big gay bears, and I don't think the message it's kind of ruining my day, this whole entire message. It's making me very uncomfortable. I hope you guys are more uncomfortable than I am, because I'm hamming it up, but I'm doing it for a purpose, which is to ruin your day, just like this ad did when I decided to break it down. And yes, we're 30 seconds in to an ad that is 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I'm going this much into detail.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
So yeah, you have them go through the IVF thing, which by the way is the lie that the evil orange man is going to ban IVF when he has not indicated he's going to do that at all whatsoever. Then they go into the childless cat lady thing, which is a misrepresentation. Obviously you have abortion mixed in there, and they're saying, oh, it's so masculine for you to support all these different various things, but also just as important is for you to not want to have families, because whatever you want, because the answer to every question in American politics and in society is that women can do whatever they want, no matter what, and every man should praise it, and you're masculine if you praise it. If you just say women are correct about everything, then you are totally alpha male and not at all weak and cowardly and not able to stand up for yourself and not able to have any standards for yourself. So just trust them. Trust these alpha male guys right here. The one who likes it raw from the big bears, he's the one that's gonna guide you into the masculine future.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Full-throated endorsement. Full-throated.
Let's just say that's not the adjective that I would have used if I was this individual. Let's just say if I was keeping track of all the different statements from this individual and how they kind of give me a non-straight vibe, that full-throated as another thing that this person said, it doesn't help that direction. I don't even remember this was in there when I was ranting about the raw steak and the big gay bear thing, and I just remembered now he said full-throated, and I'm just saying that this is what the left thinks of you in terms of men out there. This is what they think you believe is masculine, and I just want you to understand that they have all this in here to appeal to you. This is not a parody. These are the people that are obsessed with representation, and they want you to look this man in the face and say, wow, I feel represented by this individual. I'm gonna give the woman my full-throated support because I'm represented by her.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
So yeah, they have this guy saying he's man enough to support women, and then they cut to the black guy on the workout bench, and he says, I'm man enough to know what kind of donuts I like. Again, a reference to J.D. Vance. You could just tell that this was written by a bitter woman, probably a black woman with purple or red hair and about 14 million nose piercings is behind this ad, because she's like, this is gonna be a zinger. If I write these words and they are uttered by men's, then all the men's are going to stand up and clap, and they're going to say, you know what? Kamala is the way to go. That's the masculine way to go. Don't you feel tough? Remember the line earlier about eating the carburetor? Remember the thing about the raw bear with the full-throated? Isn't it so masculine? Hey guys, editing Sean here, and I decided to look up the Instagram credited by the New York Post, and I found out that it is actually run by a person called Jacob, who of course has he, him pronouns in his bio, because you know, you definitely are at peak masculinity when you're putting pronouns in your bio. Now, it actually lists him as having 2 art degrees. He is a comedy and commercial director, Oscar qualified documentary director, and he's written for apparently Kimmel, Funny or Die, and Nickelodeon. And his image, while not the black woman with the nose piercings, is about what you would expect to be a white guy that was behind this. Absolutely ridiculous and absurd.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Now look, I know you guys out there in the audience are probably thinking, Sean, you've been joking about this guy since the first thing that he said, but there's no way you could turn the I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions kind of sentiment into another LGBTQXXIIP community joke. But the fact of the matter is, I definitely could. I could talk about him feeling lost with his big bear boy, but I'm not gonna do so. Because here on the Actual Justice Warrior channel, we try to elevate. So we're not going to talk about somebody feeling lost, feeling like they need to give full-throated support raw to a big bear and not asking for directions from the big bear. We're not going to do that because we're better than that on this channel, and you're better than that out there in the audience. And remember, masculinity. This is to appeal to you masculine guys out there. Don't you feel so manly?
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight.
So yeah, they get into the DeSantis book burning thing, and then this guy is talking about ladies' clothes. I'm not saying anything about it. You stop trying to push me, guys. I'm not gonna do that. And then the next guy says raw dogging, which is an interesting adjective right after that previous guy talks.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
So yeah, we get a reference to going on the flight and not using the entertainment system, listening to music or anything like that. It is described as raw dogging, and then we have people talking about they're okay with being emotional with their wife, their kids, and then the guy comes back and he says with this horse, and then you hear a horse noise, and I can't help but think about him saying raw dogging and with the horse, and then I realize that maybe, just maybe, this is meant to appeal to Vosh or Jake. Sorry. I'm out of here.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Goodwill Hunting.
West Side Story. That
and Predator.
Unpopular take, even though Love Actually ends with Rick from Walking Dead with that note scene, and that scene in particular is kind of iconic. The fact of the matter is, the movie's actually not that good. I know. Calm down, you animals. But these ensemble romantic comedy movies, they don't really hit as they should or as people feel like they should. And I would just suggest you rewatch the movie and you tell me what moment in that movie you would start crying. Because obviously that's very unmasculine. Now, there are certain scenes in certain movies that get you. They get you in the feels, but they didn't name any of the movies that should get you. Also, I do want to point out the movies that were referenced aren't exactly up-to-date references, if you know what I mean.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
So yeah, then you have this guy saying, I'm not into domineering and all this stuff, putting down women, because that's inappropriate. I feel like this is an Evil Orange Man reference. And again, if this is a parody, it is one of the most well-executed parodies of all time, because the next guy says, that's not how my mama raised me. Again, I am still open to the reveal that this was just a JK LOL kind of situation, because it defies all logic that these words are put in this order, delivered by these actors, and they're meant to be taken seriously. I still don't believe that this isn't a parody.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
So yeah, then they go back to the previous message, which is if you're a woman, anything you do, no matter what, is amazing and worthy of praise. Again, because if you're a real man, if you're a masculine man, you can never have any standard of behavior, especially a standard of behavior for the opposite sex. Again, I'm not interested in this messaging. I can't believe this is actually real, but it closes with the Kamala Harris support thing, and apparently this is meant to be legit. Even though I feel like I could have got together a bunch of male creators to do a parody of this and it wouldn't be as funny. But of course, that's just my opinion. Maybe you guys out there in the audience were swayed by this. Maybe you've been won over to Kamala Harris's side, and if so, let me know why down in the comments below. As usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about another failed attempt for the Kamala Harris campaign to appeal to men. Till next time.